This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. But we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 5th of March, 2019, and I am 2J.
I am 2M.
And I am Miss K, your host. Again, in case you missed it, this is Winning Headlines. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Daily Nation, dams, farm locked in Asia court battle. The Star, Prophet Owuor in a 1.5 billion shilling fight for Nairobi flats. And The Standard, tough questions on chopper night crash.
You want to start with the Prophet?
We might as well.
Huh?
Sure, let's go for it.
The Star, Prophet Owuor in 1.5 billion shilling fight for Nairobi flats. Do you want to give me context?
Before I do that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
this man
Yes.
moves like Uhuru. Have you ever seen him on the highway?
He's motorcade, yes. Yes.
And people with guns totting out like, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, a
It
man
is,
of
it's very
God,
strange,
why
yeah.
should a man of God be so afraid like that?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know.
His protection is from a higher
Yeah.
authority, so
Yeah.
I don't know why he needs the earthbound, physical show of might. I don't know. But
wow.
anyway, let's address the story that we have today. Prophet
Yes.
Owuor in 1.5 billion shilling fight for Nairobi flats.
So what do we have?
Legalese.
Yes. So we have the family of a woman who claims that the Prophet and his people have allegedly taken hold of some property that she has.
Yes.
So what has prompted this case or the story in the media right now is the lady, what's her name?
I think Muthoni, if I'm
Yes,
not wrong.
okay, yeah, Muthoni.
Yeah, Bishop Jane Muthoni.
Yes, Bishop Jane Muthoni. So her mother passed away and her family was trying to get her to be present at the funeral,
Yeah.
but unfortunately they were unable to get a hold of her. And they claim that it is because the Prophet has taken hold of her, they will not let her leave,
Yeah.
and that they've taken control of her property.
And in fact, Prophet Owuor was shown to be living in the property. There were guards stationed outside the property that didn't allow her family members to get in and didn't allow her to come out. There's even claims that she was locked in a room. There's even claims that she was even assaulted by members of the church.
Wow.
And what is a fact is
Yeah.
that one of the members of the church has been made a director in her company, and that 700 million
Yeah.
shillings
Yes.
was moved from her personal account.
All this is happening
So-
within a church.
Yes.
Yes.
And where it gets strange is that Prophet Owuor's lawyer claims that this woman voluntarily gave up these assets.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that she signed over, or rather allowed the member of the church to become a director in her company because she was suffering mental
Yes.
problems. Now, as a regular citizen and as a lawyer, I just have to question that. If you're suffering from mental problems, if you're having memory loss, you're not in a mental capacity, in a
Yes.
mental state to be able to transfer your assets away. Least of all to people you just met or who are in your church, maybe to your next of kin.
Yes. So
I
what we have here is the conflict between her family, who say that the church is taking advantage of her,
Yeah.
and the Prophet and his lawyer saying that no, this woman has voluntarily given up these assets.
I'm sorry, June, and I have to just put this out there. I think that she is a victim of undue influence.
And I would agree with you. So
But break it down for
So
our
if we could give the
audience.
definition of undue influence, it
Yeah.
is a legal doctrine that involves a person of power
Yeah.
having influence over another person. And a lot of the time, there has to be proven a relationship.
Yeah.
And so sometimes these relationships are parent and child, lawyer and client, doctor and patient, but also it is included a religious leader
And a follower.
And
And I agree, and there have been cases where you've had people who are in a religious group and then afterwards realize, wait, I feel like these people had some sort of control over me. I
Yes.
want the stuff that I gave them back.
Yes.
And in one case, at least one that I know of in California, a gentleman called Molko sued a church called the Holy Spirit Association.
Yeah.
For he was a member in the group, he wanted a monetary gift, he'd given them back. And you know what the court held? The court held that yes, he could bring that claim because the church can establish a position of dominance, and from that position of dominance, they can exert use their confidential relationship between you and them to obtain something from you using undue influence.
Yes.
And I think that that's a possibility here. And the family
in my opinion, I think the family have a good case, but I think the most important thing, if I was to give my own humble advice, is that they work quickly on this. From what we've learned from this story, she's been in this situation since almost 2005.
Yes, she was a lawyer. She closed down her firm and became an avid member of the church. I
feel like I've just been to law school.
You're welcome.
And sometimes it's necessary.
All right.
But what do we say about this headline?
Yeah.
As you know very well, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to break down the headlines on your behalf. We ask ourselves 3 questions. Is the story topical or is it speculative?
Right.
Is it repetitive or is it groundbreaking? And finally, is it thoughtful or is it lazy? Now, what do we say about this headline? The Star usually has a tendency for the sensational.
Yes, that's true. It is.
I don't know. What do we say?
1.5 billion. Again, profit Owuor. You would buy this newspaper on a corner street.
I think I would. Yeah, I'd be curious to know what this story is, especially
because
ourselves,
guys. A sensational story, nonetheless. But is it, based on our criteria, a winning headline?
I think it is.
I wouldn't lose any sleep over profit Owuor myself.
So what is it? Is it topical? It affects one particular family. If you're telling me it's broad-based.
Yes, it's not topical to the nation. Yes.
No, it's not topical to the nation. Is it groundbreaking?
Maybe not.
I don't know. Is it thoughtful? No.
I'm just going to say, as a lawyer, it piques my interest, and that's why I give it. I would say it is a good headline.
That's what you're teaching us, eh?
Yeah. Yes, it is what I'm teaching you.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm conflicted over the story. I don't think it constitutes a winning headline.
All right. Did I just lose?
I think you did.
You did.
All right, then. Goodbye.
You're going to take the 4.
Daily Nation, dams firm locked in Asia court battle versus the Standard. Tough questions on chopper night crash. I see your hand on the Standard. I think we'll go with the Standard. Let's answer the questions.
Tough questions on chopper night crash. I have a feeling, guys, that the Standard is casting aspersions on the pilot and saying it was human error. Because he flew at night. That's factor number 1.
Yes.
Factor number 2 is a deputy president factor.
Hold on, let's ask the weighty questions. There are 5 questions that have been asked by the Standard today. Question 1, why was the helicopter on air at 8:30 p.m. in a treacherous zone given the winds?
Yes.
2,
and I think, on that point number 1, I think it's important to note that in Kenya, the regulations we have are that helicopters should not fly past 6 p.m.
Yes.
Generally,
yes, unless you have a permit of some sort, or maybe, I think maybe exceptions are for the president. I'm not so sure.
I think there are certain provisions. I don't want to say that I'm not a pilot. I don't work for Kenya Civil Aviation. But what I know is this. And this is common sense, if you have a pilot who has flown for the Air Force, has over 5,500 flight hours, right?
Yes.
And is probably pilot rated to fly at night.
I hope there's a point around the corner.
There must be a reason why he was flying at that particular time. Either he knew that that place had some form of insecurity.
Okay, but still, if we address what the headline is trying to tell us, there are some tough questions that we do not have answers to.
And what you're speaking to is question 2. Why would a professional and experienced pilot with the hours that you have named, who has flown VIPs, including the DP, fly at night?
See, but this is the Standard question. This is not our question.
But I think it should be our question. These tough questions need to be answered, because I think one important point that has been brought up is that the island where this chopper took off from, or just the area in general, is military. Yes, exactly. It's a very highly securitized area.
Yeah. And I agree. If you travel towards Turkana, you will get to a point where you'll have to pass a barrier. When you get to that barrier, you will need escorts to go through.
Are you convinced the Americans were tourists?
Until evidence to the contrary is adduced, I will go.
We do not need to speculate. Yes, that's
precisely.
true.
And that's why the Standard, I think, should have waited. Because I think they are casting too many aspersions on.
I completely disagree. These tough questions.
Would you ask yourself the same questions?
Are we not asking ourselves these tough questions? Another very important fact is the way that the bodies disintegrated, right?
There was a big fire.
It was a very big fire, but when you think about the size of the tank of that chopper,
it was so small.
In my opinion, it does not add up that contact of that amount would disintegrate the bodies and burn them in the way that it did.
But then again, I think we're jumping the gun. We were not there. Nobody was there. Until an investigation is done, I would suggest we just...
However, 2M, do we not always speak to the fact that the headlines should be lifting the veil of ignorance
From the
right?
public.
From the
that is
public.
correct.
Yeah.
If we just took this story at face value that there was something strange going on, but we don't really know, let's leave it.
Yeah, but speaking
We're-
about
we're-
it right now, ignorance would probably be on us. I guess we just...
Are we
some people
bordering
are
on
mourning.
speculative?
Some people are mourning. Someone has lost their son.
And we
And we-
Do they not
and
deserve
we give
answers?
our
and
condolences to those
condolences
families.
to them. They deserve answers, but not from us, unless you're an investigator.
But do you not think it's for the public to question? Okay, you know what? Anyway, it's fine.
So what do we say?
We have ammunition coming from the other side of the camera. Okay, before we
Wait.
throw away the standard, though, I think we need to talk about this picture.
Yes. Are you guys seeing this?
Okay, there's a picture of...
this is the Evolution Conference.
Yes.
Picture of COG seated with cabinet. Right?
Yes.
Look, when you look closer, the president seat and the deputy president seats are a little bit far apart.
separated.
I don't know.
Are we going to- are we
but
going
I
to
feel like
read-
we're over-analyzing, we're over-reading into pictures. It could be just that one day they put the seats there. I don't
Yeah.
have the opportunity to move the chair. It's not like the deputy president is going to get there
He probably moved
and
himself,
move it himself.
but he
You
looks so
sit where you're
close.
assigned. That's what protocol
But when we
dictates.
think about the tensions that we know might be happening,
Yeah.
is this evidence of something? Or are we looking too far into it?
My opinion, I feel like we're reading too much, too deeply into what is just there. A picture that
Alright.
was taken where seats were placed and
Yeah.
they sat at their assigned position.
So what do we think of the headline then?
Again, topical, speculative,
questions.
repetitive,
sort of-
groundbreaking.
I sort of agree with her. I would ask myself the same questions,
So
but
what
I would
is
not
it?
put it on a headline.
I don't think it's groundbreaking. The questions have been asked, the answers haven't been given. If you
Yes.
gave me answers, so I feel like it's a bit...
So is the
Early.
Fourth Estate doing their job then? Have they not stepped up and
there's-
asked the
there-
tough questions that we know we're not getting?
Look at the time. You know, the Fourth Estate has a dance that it has to play between reporting on an issue as it's happening, an ongoing story,
Yeah.
and then again bordering on the speculative and allowing for investigations to happen, then giving the public a full picture of what actually happened.
Yeah.
And here I feel we're on that tightrope. We're not yet, yes, we are reporting on the matter. Yes, it's something that has happened. Yes, it's in the eyes of the public. Yes, questions are being asked from various quarters.
Yes.
But
Yes.
investigations take time.
You know,
Allow for the investigation to happen.
you know what gets me mostly about this headline is the angle to do with the DP. This guy used to fly for the DP.
All right, let's not enter into those
The-
spaces.
the
We
ground
still
of
have one more
speculation.
headline to.
So what do we say? Topical,
I
speculative.
think it's borderline winning.
Then we put it in the parking bay until we discuss
All right,
dams
that's
from
fair.
locked in Asia battle. Quick question: what does Asia have to do with us?
Is it Nepal?
Yes, so CMC, the Italian firm which is also involved with building the two dams in question in Kenya right now,
Yes.
have also had an issue in Nepal
Yes.
where they were unable to complete the dam there in time. They
Yes.
requested more funds.
They were given
they
more
were given
funds.
more funds by the government,
Yeah.
but they also had an issue with the Asian Development Fund.
Yeah.
So what I think this headline is alluding to is what might be in store for Kenya as well. If this is the fate of Asia's dam with CMC, what does that say for us?
The context of this is if these guys were sort of banned in Nepal,
What were they doing in Kenya?
Due diligence would have been
dictate,
done.
yeah.
I feel like we overestimate what we knew we could have and should have known at that time. If at all they were having a battle in Nepal, it most likely was not public knowledge.
Yeah.
It was private knowledge of the Nepalese government, the Asian Development Bank, and the company itself.
Yeah.
I'm yet to find a company that will willingly come and say, I'm unable to conduct business in the country because I'm having this small battle in Nepal.
No, it's
Highly
very true.
unlikely. Therefore, you're placing an undue fault on the government for not doing its due diligence. It did. And it was your point, I think, a couple of days ago.
You cannot
that-
be too sure that it
No,
did.
hold up. Wasn't it your point that if I am getting a loan from a particular country, I must then give the contract to a firm in that country?
Yeah, but not just any
When
other
you
firm.
you search for the country
You can-
in its country of origin, in Italy,
They
it
probably
was a
make-
reputable firm.
They probably make plasticine. Who knows?
You guys, I feel like here you're assigning blame where it's not due. What does
Yeah.
Asia have to do with us? Yes, it leaves some veil of ignorance. Yes, it tells me that CMC de Ravenna is having problems. Please,
But
Alright,
do you,
actually,
but
it's
do you as a
too weak.
lawyer feel that
I think
Treasury
we should
toss it.
I think we trash it.
Do you as a lawyer
Toss
feel
it.
that
All right, 2M, it's gone.
Treasury should,
End of story.
should
We move
be
on.
a little bit more careful in its
It's
conduct?
not Treasury's fault.
AG,
Again,
AG.
Guys, do I have to take the role of moderator today?
No, it's done. I agree with you. It's done. Kevin, it's
all right, so
done.
now do we have a winning headline, yes or no?
Tough Questions and Chopper Night Crash remains the only headline, and that does not make it the winning headline, my opinion.
Yeah?
It doesn't become the winning headline by exclusion. And there you have it. We have no winning headline. On to the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. And just like the headlines, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to break down the headlines on your behalf. We ask ourselves, are they humorous or are they dry? Are they satirical or are they pessimistic? And finally, are they effective or just plain lazy?
All right.
Well,
Right here.
All right. So, shall we start with the standard?
Okay.
All right, what do we have here?
I love this one.
So we have a wedding.
Yes.
And we have the young bride, and on her dress it says KAA.
Yeah.
And the groom
she looks surprised.
She looks surprised. The groom is a skeleton, an old dying man with a crutch, and it says KQ.
Yeah. And the bride is young, eh?
Yes, the bride is young.
Quite young.
Yes. Behind we have the members of the congregation. We have some pigs, some cats. People who look ready. Yeah, people who look ready to eat.
But we must.
And we have the pastor who says,
yes,
in the event of groom's death, his clan will inherit the bride.
And looking at this groom, his death is imminent.
Yes.
But we must also say this. Gado is the guy who invented these characters. The pig, the vulture, the fat cat and everything. And many cartoonists have been imitating the guy.
That. I think we actually have another cartoon that has borrowed that style.
Yeah. But there's a brilliant point you had about...
Before we get there, I think we need to explain what this cartoon is speaking about, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
And it's the takeover of the airport by KQ. And KQ is seen to be limping, and it's implied that there's a connection.
This guy is almost dying, boss.
And so if he dies, where is the clan that will inherit this bride?
Right back there. And it's implied, and it's in the political class.
The predators.
It's the vultures, the guy with no face, the pig, the fat cat, this one who looks like a hyena.
Yeah, so okay, to him,
but I do like the comment that's down
so
there.
in the corner we have a comment. This is Gado's signature. There's a little guy who's always in the corner.
Yes.
And today he says, till death do us parte. Not till death do us part.
It's brilliant.
And so this could have been missed by a few people.
Yeah.
But if you know your basic Latin, ex parte refers to where the interests of only one side or one party are considered.
Yes.
And so I think that's a very smart...
It's very smart.
It's very subtle, very smart, and I like that. I like that.
Because you could miss it.
Very, very smart.
Yeah.
I like the satire, the humor. It was funny. When I first looked at it, I thought, okay, yeah, funny.
This is the Gado that we know.
Yes, and it's very effective. So I do like this cartoon, but before I give judgment on it, can we look at the rest and then look at them against it?
Okay.
Let's see. Oh.
Daily Nation.
It's caricature of Baba and Uhuru.
Their hands, we're assuming.
The handshake.
Yeah, we assume it's their hands.
Handshake. Yes. And it's the anniversary of the handshake.
Yes, it is. Not today, but this week, 9th March.
Yeah. And who's running to 2022?
Akalenjin.
All right, yes, wearing a hat, appearing to have the resemblance of DP RUTO, and the finish line is 2022. But he's assaulted by rocks. An avalanche of rocks that's falling from the shaking hands.
But what do you think of this?
I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I don't like it either. Yeah.
Guys,
I just didn't like it.
365 days in, Baba has caused so much damage in Jubilee.
That's very true.
He just did about 200 days in Kano, NDP merger.
Yes.
And he destroyed it just within 200 days.
365, here we are.
Will this man running get 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah?
However, you can see the rocks. You can see the rocks.
And all these rocks are coming down.
And they're coming down on him. I don't know. I still find it pessimistic.
Yes, it is very pessimistic.
I find it very pessimistic and a little dry. It's not. I don't see the humor in it. There's
no humor here.
Same, yeah.
So I don't think.
Goes to
good effort.
It's a good effort, but I'm sorry.
All right.
Finally, the star.
Yes, the star. What do we have today?
Sixth annual devolution
Oh, how the
conference
tables have
commenced
turned.
yesterday.
Victor Ndula has let us down today.
Okay, well, we have a cow, branded taxes. This cow is not doing well. I think it's sick. It has a thermometer in its mouth.
It has
doesn't look well.
It has blasters.
Yeah, it's not looking well.
Yes.
And then you have this
It's
gentlemen and men
women
eating.
In fact, there's one with the feet up in the air milking
So here
this cow.
the text says 6th annual devolution conference commenced yesterday.
Yes.
And so he has taken a red pen and created another sentence for himself that
Save
says
me.
save me. I think it's so childish. This is word search that you did as a baby.
I think it's a little bit deeper than that. You know.
Okay, try and argue your point. Let's see.
Here's the thing. It is possible that governors want more revenues, more money from exchequer.
Wanting and needing are very different things.
Now, it is sort of what's the word? Immoral. Right?
For them to take
for
more
them
money.
to want more money, and and people are being burdened with more taxes.
But this doesn't show any morality. It shows that they're just doing what they want.
Look
They're
at
doing
this
what they want, and therefore I'm going to ask us to ground ourselves again back in
This
our
cow
criteria.
looks like it has
No
Ebola.
offense, it is not effective.
It has Ebola, and look at its udder; it's stretched.
You can't even see its udder. You cannot see its udder.
Then what are they doing here then?
The udder is down below.
Miss K, please can you ground us?
Someone is
Ground us in our
effective?
someone is
framework.
taking the milk with his legs in the air like this. This one, Anna Adabu,
I have to ask, is it effective?
are fantastically
No.
effective. And if you do it, I'll
No.
keep it.
You can have your personal opinion, but this is the opinion of my brand of
let's
dictatorship.
answer the
We're
questions.
still analyzing
Let's answer
it.
the
So
questions.
let's answer the question. Is it effective?
Yes.
No.
Is it humorous?
Yes.
No.
Is it satirical?
Yes.
No.
It is not satirical.
Yes.
You're pushing your point.
Yes.
It is
Okay,
not.
I think let's go back as we finish up,
In
right?
fact, give a comparison
I
of
think
Gado's
if we were to
cartoon
compare,
today.
if we were to honestly compare
Yes.
These two cartoons, I feel this is our winning cartoon
So-
from Gado.
And I agree. So I will trash it on myself.
Thank you for agreeing with us. Our winning cartoon today is from the standard Gado. And on that note, this is Winning Headlines. See you tomorrow.